We invite Bernat Kunitz, a digital artist. I would say that you are not participatory at all. Okay, no, well, in one way or another, but I think that this is always the role of the artist, so try to create an emotional link, a change of behavior. What's participation for you in the kind of art that you are proposing?
First, say thank you, blah, blah, blah. Currently, I'm doing a project, Ocean the Atlantic. I'm doing it in Lisbon about the estuaries, prototyping possible futures, binoculars that you can see. This is informed by science and community and all these things. So, of course, I do community engagement, but it's something that I'm always very afraid or I think we need to be very careful because it easily can become an extractive practice. Something that you go, you land with your parachute, artist parachute, you go to in a community with your funding or your whatever, your paid hours, and you give things to people that then you extract and you bring back to your gallery, to your exhibition or to your portfolio. This is not something that happened here. I see that all of you did something that stays in the community. For me, that's always a big red flag that I try to avoid when I enter a project. Oh, we're going to do things with people, communities. Like, well, I don't know either. I don't want to pay them with croissants and coffee. I just either their hours and their dedication is contributed, or we do something that actually stays there, is a place-based.
Or how it's in your mind, this kind of process after the binoculars?
So first is to engage people in a visceral way, in a more experiential, more embodied experience. And the scientists come later, and the economics come later. From my point of view, at least, the flag that I wear is systemic change. It's not something that we need to change this. So the problem is not the plastic. The problem is capitalism, consumerism. It's not recycling. I mean, we don't need to recycle more. We just need to consume less. I have a big problem with this approach of recyclers. Like a side little personal experience. I was working in Hong Kong in a eco-design sustainability lab for a while, and of course I came with all my baggage of eco-design, sustainability, design for repairability, and blah 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 blah, all the materials made with seaweed, all these things. Then it happens that we were analyzing this life cycle analysis of one of the products, and 95% of the impact came from the PCB, the tiny little electronic. So it really doesn't matter if you use eco, cotton, whatever, because 95% is there. So I think that there's this big, of course, the eco-washing, but the participatory washing, there's these big elephants in the room, which is the consumption and generation of trash, and also this tendency, sorry, I need to be very careful because this tendency to
This is recorded.
Yeah? No, this tendency to push things to the end user, the consumer, or to the citizen, or to the little kid that, bad. When we have these bigger problems that, of course, for us as an artist, the tiny communities or something is very difficult to tackle because, of course, we know how to manage little things, but bigger are more difficult, like the cruisers here in the port. Like one cruise, it makes more pollution than the whole cars in Barcelona for 1 year. So now we have the chance to add this to the system again. That's the way your kids learn about recycling is not because they were in a participatory workshop. It was because for some reason it was embedded in their curricula. Yeah. Because maybe this started from the grassroots, as you mentioned, or the things need to start from the bottom, and there's this gap on how to implement them long term. And especially taking advantage of this, that there's the people is not afraid to feel the art. And this is something that rarely happens in the art. Of course, it is happening in this project. That's why it's very amazing that you are doing all these things, but this was already said before. Yeah. Sometimes during the artistic research or the creative process, or when you collaborate with scientists, you come up with breakthroughs or ways of doing things, using technologies from one field to another, or data that then, if there isn't a body that transfers this, then it's vapor. I just want to add that I was brought here to add a little bit of noise. I was expressing only my worries when entering participatory. But